Hey everybody, welcome to another action figure review, G.I.Joe Classified Edition. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Cobra Tele-Viper with Flight Pod, and as an added bonus I'm also going to include the Python Patrol Tele-Viper and Flight Pod, both of which I have here. But first we're going to look at the original, and I've already unboxed and put everything together, so save some time. Some effort. Get a quick look at the flight pod itself and the Tele-Viper figure, and then we'll go into the box. This one is number 79 in the line, and as you can see, the front of the box is similar to the, the artwork and product shot that we've seen for the Wolf Spider and Shadow Tracker reviews I've done. This type of box is going to be going away now that they brought the windowed boxes back. I think the General Hawk wave, that's General Hawk, Shockwave, Buzzer, Ripper, and Helix will be the last wave to have this style box, and then starting with Metalhead and Mutton Junkyard, they'll be bringing back the plastic window on the front. But this product artwork will still be on the back of the new box, so we won't lose it. We will lose some of the additional artwork, unfortunately, though, just because of space constraints. But they're trying to keep as much as possible of the stuff that we did like when they bring back the window boxes. So as you can see, the image on the front here, you got all these Cobra Tele-Vipers and flight pods blasting off from a jungle, possibly Cobra Island. We got Cobra Tele-Viper artwork here. The little strip showing you everything that, well, not quite everything, obviously, but most everything he comes with. Can't fit everything that comes with on the little thing there. You got the standard legalese on the bottom, 79, file card information, more artwork, G.I.Joe on the top, even more artwork on the side. And then of course you got the back that shows you the dimensions and shows you everything that it comes with, including multiple heads, the gun blaster thing, hose, backpack, missiles, mine, flight pod figure. And then we have close-ups of arms, his sleeve with the Cobra logo, the back of the flight pod, and the communicator device he has on his wrist. And before we get into the figure itself, let's quickly take a look at the Python Patrol box. Python Patrol is number 98 in the line, so we jump almost 20 figures between the two. Ironically, I got this first before I got about a month earlier than I got the standard release, which is weird. I know in America they got the standard release first, and they're just now getting these, I think, either shipped to them or they're showing up in Targets. This is a Target only exclusive, by the way, the Python Patrol. And on this one we can see another image of all these Tele-Vipers taking off in their flight pods. There's an aerial mine there. There's a temple in the background. There's a picture there. Just same strip showing everything he comes with, just in different colors. Legalese on the bottom. File card info. Image, picture. G.I.Joe across the top. Another artwork. You know, they could have easily had just recolored the artwork for the original, but they instead commissioned completely new artwork for the Python Patrol. So that's kind of cool. And then you have it here, you have it on the back. Dimensions exactly the same. All the pieces and accessories exactly the same as the original. And then the close-up of The wrist communicator and the back of the flight pod are exactly the same, but on his upper sleeve, instead of the Cobra logo, he's got the Python Patrol logo there. So now that we got the boxes out of the way, let's take a look at the figure. So this is the standard Tele-Viper, standard release of the Tele-Viper, looking much like he did in the 80s when they originally released the figure. One thing you'll notice is that instead of having bare arms like the original figure had, he's got these like black sleeves. It's made to look like he's wearing like a bodysuit underneath, but they really just painted the bare arms black. And the reason they did this is because he comes with multiple heads, two of which are skin tone heads. One of them is Caucasian, and the other is black. So by covering up the arm, the skin tone on the arm, like it would look, if they had left the arms bare skinned and, you know, Caucasian, it would look weird popping off his Caucasian head and putting a black head on there and having Caucasian arms, you know. So that would be weird. So colored arms so that you can swap heads, and the only skin tone you'll see is on the face, not in any part of the rest of the body. I have seen people take the arms from the Tiger Force Recondo and swap those out so they can get a more classic look with the bare arms. But of course, that only works if you want your Tele-Viper to just always be white guy instead of ever using the black head. Going over the articulation, you can look down that far, look up that far. He's got some tilt. My particular standard Tele-Viper has a kind of a loose head there, loose peg in the head. So he's kind of, it's not too bad. Like if you move him around like that, it's not gonna like, he's not a bobblehead basically, but it's a little looser than I would prefer. The Python Patrol one's head wasn't this bad. His arms can hinge up about 90. Goes a T-pose there. He's got the butterfly joints in the shoulder area there. He has a bicep cut right where the sleeve is folded up, right by the pouch there. He's got pinless double jointed arms. He's got side wrist peg on the right arm and on the left arm. No up down for this guy. Okay. Oh, also before I go much further, he's got a few overlays. He's got this belt overlay here that moves around. It's floating. It's not attached to the vest. He's got the vest overlay, and then he's got this forearm overlay here, which is his wrist communicator device. You can talk to Cobra Commander with that thing on there. Coordinate troops in the field, stuff like that. Back to the waist. He doesn't get a lot of turn there. Looks like he's got an ab crunch joint there. So he can't go forward too much because the front of the vest gets in the way. But he can't really go back that far either because the back of the vest gets in the way. Actually, if I move the belt down there, now he gets more. He can go back further if you move the belt out of the way. That still doesn't prevent him from getting stuck with the front of the vest there when you try to go forward. Drop down hips, standard with the G.I.Joe classified line. So he can do the Van Damme splits. And his arm can go all the way around. And he can do the Exorcist head spins too. See, sometimes I forget to do certain things. I should be used to it by now. I've done enough of these, but nope. Sometimes I still forget. There's also some cool details on the belt. He's got like looks like a cell phone right there, and pouches on the side. He's got a thigh cut there. Pinless, double jointed legs. Yeah. That one was a little tough. See, I'm used to, I already put stress marks in the plastic. That's good. I'm used to the butter joints from the Mezco since I've been messing with the Roadblock and Destro recently. So going back to classified it's like day and night joint-wise. He does have a boot cut at the top of the boot, hidden nicely. His foot can peg back that far. Can peg forward that far. He's got that good rocker there. Peg holes on the bottom for stand. And before we get into the accessories, let's just bring in his buddy, the Python Patrol Tele-Viper. I'm not going to go over his articulation because it's exactly the same, but you can see just slight differences. Obviously the color differences being the most dramatic. He's in yellow and gray rather than blue and purple, and with a red mask instead of a silver one. He's got the Python Patrol logo on his arm instead of the Cobra logo. He's got all the same pouches, the same overlays, the same belt. It's a little bit more paint on his belt as opposed to the original. He's got some reds there, that's nice, and the cell phone's painted black instead of it all being black. They both have watches on their wrists. Actually, that's an overlay as well. Yeah, I didn't mention that on the other one. And his communicator is a little easier to see because of the brightness of the color. Mine's got a little paint slop on there, but yeah, it is what it is. And he's got the Python Patrol crisscross pattern on the pants. The original Python Patrol figure released in the 80s had the crisscross on the torso as well, but because this vest is an overlay rather than just part of his sculpt, they didn't do that here, so no overlay or no crisscross pattern on his upper torso for the Python Patrol Tele-Viper. Now, accessories-wise, we've got that extra head for both of them. There we go. They each come with one white head and one black head. Same sneer on the lips there for both color heads. And they also come with these in-flight, I guess, flight masks heads that cover the head entirely. Looks like some kind of a virtual reality mask there, visor, to help in piloting the flight pod possibly. And they also come with their guns. Not sure exactly what these are supposed to fire. They have pegs on the interior that you can plug blast effects into, but these don't look like standard guns. They look more like when I was growing up, I always thought these were video cameras. I don't know why. I'm probably not the only one, but yeah, I always thought these were video cameras. But I don't think that's what they were intended to be. It's probably supposed to fire some kind of weird beam or something like that. They also come with a hose for their guns. Standard one comes with a black hose, and Tiger or Python Patrol one comes with a red hose. These are bendable, but not very, like, posable, you know. They're pretty rigid. I mean, they look nice and soft and pliable and whatnot, but once you got them pegged in, they kind of like sit out like that. So they also come with their backpacks, and the standard one has a little bit more paint on it. It's got that purple on the buttons on the upper back, whereas the Python Patrol one doesn't. Other than that, there's basically the same sculpt. And lastly, they both come with an aerial mine. Standard one's mine is white with some red and black lettering and some gray at the bottom there. And Python Patrol's is all black except for that red caution. And you can, not very easily, but you can get your finger in there and open the hatch, and that allows you to see the inner detail of the mine. There's no paint, unfortunately. And if I can get open the standard release one, I can show you inside that one too. There we go. Again, no paint. It's just in the same molded gray plastic that the bottom is. So let's just see it inside the mine. Now that we've dealt with the Tele-Vipers and their aerial mines, now we can look at the flight pods themselves. Alright, first we'll take a look at the standard flight pod. It's a pretty big vehicle. Not as big as some of the ones we're going to get, but it's decent sized enough. It's got these two stands here on the bottom that you can set it down on the table with. Unfortunately, there is no peg. Like if you wanted to stick it on a flight stand, like those Marvel flight stands, you can't do it because there's no place to put the ball of the peg onto. It's got the engine on the back here. You can see it's got marks for Sky Strikers that's shot down. These fins at the bottom can move. All the decals and wording and whatnot all come pre-applied. This isn't like the old days in the 80s where you had to apply all the decals yourself. It's got a missile on either side. It's got this big gun on the bottom. It can move around in all sorts of directions. As you can see, there's the ball peg that goes into that bigger than the hole of the gun. So unfortunately, there's some stress marks on the gun there. I might be able to blast those out with some heat though. Haven't tried it yet. It's got more engine exhaust or fan or whatever on the side there. Lots of cool little details inside the device. Lots of paint. This slides down so you can set the guy in there. And you can see the steering mechanism. It's got a little display screen there and handlebars on either side. And it's got this also another display on the screen there, which is a little bit off-centered on this one. Although it's not so bad on the other one. And you got a harness here, put the figure in, you can unpeg that, put him in there, peg it back in. Of course the canopy opens. Now, a lot of problems that some people have been having is the pegs for the canopy. Like this side goes in pretty easily, but this side, people have been having problems because the peg is smaller or bigger than the hole that it goes into. But you can either kind of like force it in there a little bit, or you can shave it down so that it fits better. However you want to do it. Let's get him in the flight pod now. Yeah, one of my missiles fell off. All right. Never tried to do this on camera before. It's not so easy when you're trying to hold it so it's still, the figure's still on camera while you're doing it. I need both my hands for that. Alright, there he goes. Ready to damn again with that missile. Ready to fly off, hunt down some Joes. Trouble Bubble was always one of those weird vehicles back in the day, but it looks pretty. They did a pretty good job bringing it to classified scale. I think it looks kind of cool. Quickly, let's go over the Python Patrol version, which isn't all that different. It's just the colors. This one, I think, looks better. Honestly, there's a lot more, looks like there's a lot more going on, even though there isn't, just because of the color difference. You got some reds, you got yellows, you got black, you got rather red and yellow labeling and words and whatnot. You got the crisscross Python Patrol pattern. Even that's different. I mean, they could have just made it red like the original, but they made it like a teal color instead. Inside, you've got the same paint on the buttons and whatnot. The gun here fits a little better. As you can see, there's no stress marks on that one. And the display screen is also in the same kind of teal color as that. The harness is yellow this time instead of red. The missiles are yellow instead of black. It's basically identical with some differences. Also, the canopy on this one fits a lot better. I didn't have to do any... see, fits right in. I didn't have to do any shaving down of the peg to get it in there. It just fits straight in. So there you have the Tele-Viper and the Python Patrol Tele-Viper with flight pods, all the accessories they come with. For whatever reason, the Python Patrol version was $10 less than the standard, or 10 quid left if you lived in the United Kingdom like I do. If you had a choice, I would buy the Python Patrol version. If you were going to like army build these, I would army build the Python Patrol just to save some money. I mean, you'd be, if you build 4 of them, if you want to buy 4 of them, then you would save 40 quid. So that's not insignificant. I really think they could have just released the standard one for the same price. There's no reason why they had to charge an extra $10 for it. But, you know, it is what it is. And I think most people would be more likely to army build the standard because it's the original color of the figure. But, you know, do whatever you really want to do at the end of the day. It's your choice. I ended up buying 2 of the standard ones myself and only 1 of the Python Patrol, but I didn't know the prices at the time I pre-ordered the 2 standard ones, and I had always said when I first started collecting the Python Patrol that I was only going to get 1 of each of them. I didn't want to army build all of the different colors of troopers, because that gets expensive, you know. I just wanted to army build the originals. So, oh, one last thing before we go. Inside each of the boxes also comes with this artwork here, which is the same as the artwork that's on the outer side of the box, but it's bigger. You get a bigger one, black and white. This is the Python Patrol version, and this is the standard version one. The figure and the flight pods are both, you can see the holes there, they're both tied in to these boxes on the inside of the outer box. So that's kind of cool. Oh, there you have it. Comment down below, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Tele-Viper and the flight pod. If you're going to get both, if you're going to get 1 of each, you know, if you're going to get army build these things. If you're only going to go with the standard, or if you're going to save money and only go with the Python Patrol. So, comment down below. And stay tuned Sunday when we take a look at the Blast from the Past of the Cobra Viper. And I'll see you next time.